Okay, so you're gonna find it over here, okay, on the top tab. So click on the top tab and you're gonna scroll down to writing exercises. Click on writing exercises. You should have done writing exercise 1. This is for writing exercise 2/3, okay? If you click on it, you'll see that you can, whoops, I didn't mean to do that. You'll see that you can copy and paste the questions that are here and put them into the box here, and then click submit, okay? What you're gonna do, there's a separate document that's an image sheet. You're gonna pick one image from the image sheet and you're going to base part 2 on that one image. For that part 2, I want you to write in an abstract form, meaning that whatever image you pick from the image sheet, I want you to either write a poem or write just like a kind of stream of consciousness words that come out of you as you look at the picture, just like you're looking at it and it's just making you think of different words. Just write them all down. Or you can make a Venn diagram, like a word tree, where you start with one word that you think the picture resonates, and then you form other words from that. If you do a Venn diagram and you draw it, just take a picture of it, upload the picture here. You can attach a picture. But just make sure that for part 2, whatever you do is in an abstract form. I don't want you writing descriptively the way that you did in a structured way for exercise 1. I want you just to either write phrases. We were looking for you. I'm explaining writing exercise 2/3. And Esther's filming it. So it's really important. So for part 2, just make sure that it's in an abstract form. You can't use someone else's poem, you can write your own poem. But pick one, either write a poem, make a Venn diagram, just do like a kind of stream of consciousness, words coming out of you. But you pick one picture and you do that, okay? Create something that's an abstracted form, okay?
Rewind. What? What are we doing here?
This is your next homework writing exercise, writing
Okay.
exercise 2/3.
Right.
For part 2, you're going to pick one photograph from the whole sheet of pictures, and you're going to,
Given to us.
yes, it's
Okay.
in the next document, I'll show you. And you're going to do part 2 in an abstract form, meaning that you're not going to write descriptive structured sentences the way you did writing exercise 1. For this one, for part 2, you're writing either a poem, or you could just write like lyrics if you see it as a kind of melody, the image, or just stream of consciousness words, or you could make a Venn diagram where you write one word that leads to another word and take a picture of it and attach the picture. But pick something that's an abstracted form. If you like to draw, you could even make a sketch of the picture, but do something where it's kind of abstraction of the photograph, okay?
Okay.
That's for part 2. Then you're going to look at that image sheet again, and you're going to say, what other image on there has a relationship to the one that I just did an abstracted writing exercise for part 2?
Right.
And you can make that analysis however you want with the other pictures. So for example, maybe you pick another picture that has a similar composition, or maybe you pick another picture that has a similar meaning, or something about it is connected. Maybe they're even opposites of one another. It can be contrast, not necessarily similarities, okay? And then once you've decided on that second picture that you think has a relationship, you're going to construct an essay, a comparative essay for part 3. So in part 3, you are going to use structure, and you're going to use the structure that you used in part 1, which was talking about the meaning of a photograph, the appearance of a photograph, and the emotional content. So you're going to structure an essay with 3 paragraphs, and all of the instructions are here, in case you forget. Tells you into 3 paragraphs, just like you did in writing exercise 1, where you talk about the meaning, the appearance, the aesthetic qualities, and the emotional content, that they may share or maybe they differ from one another. You could contrast or compare them. And then you put that essay into part 3. You don't have to upload the pictures that you talked about, just put the name of the photographer and the title, okay? And just submit it into this space here. If you make a Venn diagram and have to attach a picture, it allows you to attach a file. And if you go back out, to the description, if you go back to, I don't know if I click back, I'm not going to go back, I'm just going to go back. And remember, this is in the top category under assignments. So this was under writing exercises, okay? So it's here under writing exercises, and this is, you should have done writing exercise 1 if you still didn't do it. And this is writing exercise 2/3. So the image sheet is here. This is the attached file. This is the image sheet. If you click on that, these are the images. So remember, you're going to pick one that you write abstract about, and then pick another to compare it to. If you click on enlarge, you can see the name of the photographer and the title. If you want a better look at it, they're all searchable on Google. Just if you want to be able to enlarge it more, you can do it that way. So for example, let's say I wrote a poem about Annie Brigman's The Breeze photograph, and I wrote a poem all about, this woman and her, kind of, ethereal sort of sense of freedom and abandon, and that she had a connection to nature, and she wasn't really tied down to modes of society. And maybe and I wrote a poem about that. Let's say I wrote a whole poem about her and her silhouette, and then let's say I said, who does she have a relationship to? So maybe I might pick Man Ray's Glass Tears photograph, and then I could write an essay all about how these are two women that seem kind of opposite of one another. One is free, in touch with nature. The other is very constrained, almost sort of imprisoned in the frame, trying to get out, pleading for help. And there's a sense of artificiality in the glass tears. You don't know if the photographer is saying she has no feelings or he has no feelings for her, but there's a sense of alienation and artifice, whereas this photograph, the woman is completely whole and not does not seem distraught at all. So you could make whatever comparisons you like, but it's a way for you to start thinking about how pictures relate to one another. So when you finish all of these writing exercises, when you've done writing exercise 1, 2, and 3, you should have some fluency in being able to communicate and critique photographs in a descriptive way, in an abstractive, reductive, deconstructive way, and also in a comparative way. Because we don't just see pictures by themselves all day long, right? Like, we're bombarded by pictures all at the same time. How do we make sense of them? So it's a way for us to kind of compartmentalize and make comparisons. So it'll really help you be more articulate in your writing, and also just your observations and understanding. Okay, so that's due next Monday at midnight. Okay, so, and also make sure that you guys, I'm going to go back to where I was. Make sure that you guys are on the writing on the discussion boards, right? Make sure that you should be starting thread 4. Okay, so you should be on thread 4. You should have done 1, 2, and 3, and you should be on thread 4 is photography art. Okay, so for thread 4 is photography art, I want you read through here, but basically you're going to find a picture that you think is artistic, post it, and tell me why, and then talk to each other.
A paragraph of it? Oh, comment on everybody's stuff.
Put a picture that you think is artistic and why. Find a picture by a photographer and talk about why you think it's artistic. You need to be able to figure out why some pictures are art and some aren't. There's a lot of photographs out there, right? Some photographs can be news photographs. They also can be art photographs. They can be both at the same time, right? Some photographs can be a documentation. They can also be artistic. We've already seen that, right? In a lot of the work that we've looked at. So it's important for you to make those kinds of identifications. And I want you to think about, how does, what makes a picture artistic? And what's the validity of that versus something that maybe isn't? What's that dialogue about?
I had a moment today.
Right. So read through this, because it goes through like different ideas, because that's what we're talking about next, is the movement in photography called pictorialism, which is all about Alfred Stieglitz and his cohorts, 100 pictorialist photographers trying to, convince the world that photography is art. And they want to be accepted the same way painters are and sculptors are. So, this is the next movement that we're talking about, which it's 10 of 9 now. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm just going to start it a little bit, talking about it, and then when we're kind of working next week on the cyanotypes, I might sort of still be talking like while we're doing the cyanotypes, so we're just not losing ground where we should be. And you also, what I'm going to do too is I'm going to put the recording from my class